bit of a story time. Why I left Poland in my 20s. Since I was a child, I actually wanted to live in English-speaking country. I didn't know it's going to be UK at the time, but there was something that my seed in my head was planted. I think it was probably the age of when we first got our TV at our home and we watched all those movies and films, American movies, well, English movies. And I don't know, I just felt like, gosh, there's such an amazing world out there. And, especially Dynasty, and all those amazing ladies and power ladies, powerhouses. And I don't know, I just felt like, gosh, there is so much more out there than in my little village in Poland. And I planted that seed in my head that I also wanted to travel, but I think I just wanted to settle somewhere else than Poland because at the time I felt if I do stay in Poland, it just means I'm going to have just a typical life that if you grow up in a village, you marry someone who's maybe from a next door village and you work whatever job you're going to be available, even though I went to uni, but the degree meant nothing because unless you knew someone somewhere, it was quite difficult to get a decent job after uni. Or maybe that's what I got into my head because everyone around me talked about that. Everyone around me talked how, you need to have a bag. That's meaning to know people to get a new job. So from a young age, I assumed there's no great career for me here. So when the opportunity came to come to UK for 6 months, I was like, oh, I'm giving it a go. I'm going to give it a go. That's also an opportunity for me to earn extra money, to improve my English. Yeah, let's do it. Yes, the plan was to come here for 6 months. I did come for 6 months. I went back to Poland to finish my degree, but then I came back because I got an offer to come back if I want to, and I did come back. And it was work on the production line. First few years, I worked on the production line, and I do not regret the decision that I made. And my career still, since then, has flown from production line to DIY store to first office job to working for the biggest retailer in the UK in their head office to traveling the world with them to work on a supplier side as well. Then 6 years out of full-time employment and diving into self-employment and different ventures, then back to full-time employment and being a commercial manager or account manager. And so I'm proud of my career and I'm happy that I made that decision to move to the UK. I think at the time also what I felt that I wouldn't get that opportunities that easily in Poland. I wouldn't be able to excel as quickly. I felt, and again, it's all about the feeling because I haven't experienced those things that I'm saying. It's all about what I've heard and the assumptions that I made. I felt like, being a woman, it's going to be harder for me to get a good job, to get a, decent job in the office. It was for me like, this is not going to happen for me to actually achieve what I would like to achieve. I need to move to another country. So I did. And I have to admit, and I do not know what it would have been if I stayed in Poland, but from looking at my career in the UK, I have never felt, especially in those first few roles that I had, the office roles, those first two companies I worked for, one which was exotic fruit importer, and then the retailer that I used to work for. In both of those companies, I have never ever felt like I am less. No one ever made me feel like that. No one ever made me feel like, oh, you don't speak English 100% fluently, because I still don't. And I know sometimes I stumble and I make mistakes. But in those two places, the people I worked with, the managers I had, I mean, whatever, everything around the culture, it was just, it was my springboard to my confidence, to knowing that if I set my heart and my desire onto something, I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to achieve it. And it's possible. It is absolutely possible. I've never heard even anyone will tell me, oh, Eastern Europeans take our jobs, ever. I know some people did say stuff like that. I've never experienced it, ever. What I experience is you've got the same level playing field like everyone else. And if you perform, you progress, you get promoted. So I did. The team around here, the culture was amazing. Working for that retailer, that was my first exposure to what true leadership is as well. That was a great journey, and I totally value this. And yes, now probably I often see or compare. It's like, yeah, they did it like that, they do it like that. That's not how you do stuff. There's a good and bad things about it. But I feel being here and those roles definitely gave me something what I don't think I would have achieved that quickly in Poland. Maybe I would, I don't know. I have no idea. But I know maybe also being in a country that is not my country, and yet I was able to progress to the levels I have progressed using not my first language. I think that's another probably point where it gave me that confidence that's what's possible, what I can achieve. So I absolutely don't regret it. And yes, there have been situations where it was a bit like, oh, lessons for life, but it's all the lessons. I absolutely don't regret. I always say that I do enjoy living in the UK. As in, I think every country, there are things that happen that we don't agree with. But okay, there is one thing I do probably moan a little bit about, is the weather in UK. But I hope you understand. But about everything else, and my life, my career, and the life I've set up here in terms of my personal life, I couldn't be more proud. So sometimes it's worth looking back how far you've come and appreciate those good things. And from those bad things, or not bad things, those challenging things, there's always lessons that we have taken. So a little bit of a different type of video, bit of a story. And I'll see you on the next.